This is Sheikh Jarrah, a small neighborhood in East Jerusalem with a land dispute that has become a flashpoint in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Therefore, if you want to understand the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, you must watch this video until the end. The Palestinians, backed by the mainstream media, are claiming that Israel is ethnically cleansing Palestinian families from their homes in that neighborhood. They say the Jewish settlers are grabbing their land and taking their homes. They publish viral videos that make the Israelis look very bad, especially if you base your opinions on viral videos. But it's time to tell the truth about Sheikh Jarrah. Before we get into detail, this is not a political issue, but a building and planning issue. I'll expand on that. First of all, Jews don't call it Sheikh Jarrah, but Shimon HaTzadik, because this is where his tomb lies. Simon, was the high priest during the Second Temple period and is buried there. There is a documented Jewish presence in Sheikh Jarrah for thousands of years. I mean, why else would a high priest be buried there? In other words, even before 1948, before the re-establishment of Israel, Jews were living in Sheikh Jarrah, even before the names Palestinian or Sheikh Jarrah existed. In 1875, a Jewish rabbi legally bought lands where Sheikh Jarrah is and maintained presence there. But following Israel's War of Independence in 1948, Jews living in East Jerusalem were ethnically cleansed by illegal Jordanian occupation. The Jordanians built 28 homes in Sheikh Jarrah, some of them on Jewish-owned lands, and settled Palestinians in these homes who live there until today. After the Six-Day War in 1967, when Jerusalem was fully liberated from Jordanian occupation, the Jewish owners of these lands opened a dispute in the Supreme Court of Israel that has been ongoing for many years. The Supreme Court wanted to help the Palestinians who had been living there for decades because no one wants to evict anyone, okay? And they basically proposed a compromise that Palestinians living in these homes on private lands will get a protected status and not be evicted as long as they agree to pay rent, really small rent by the way, to the Jewish owners. I mean, sounds about right, no? Pay rent and stay, or refuse to pay rent and get evicted. The Palestinian residents agreed and signed documents agreeing to pay rent to the Jewish owners. But then the Palestinian leadership saw this as a political opportunity and convinced them to refuse it and denounce the document, and basically made them the victims of this situation. In every normal country, when someone is refusing to pay rent, they'll get evicted. But somehow in Israel, it becomes an international issue. Now, mind you that Israel offered Palestinian residents of East Jerusalem the right to apply for Israeli citizenship. The majority of them refused, and they only have an Israeli resident status. They pay Israeli taxes, receive social security benefits and state healthcare, among other things. And now we are getting to the demolishing homes part. The Palestinians say that Israel is demolishing homes in Sheikh Jarrah so that Jewish residents could take it. This is not true. There is a dispute in the Supreme Court between the Jerusalem municipality and a Palestinian family in Sheikh Jarrah that built an illegal home and opened the business on public land. This specific land was slated for building a special needs school for Arab residents of Jerusalem. The municipality met the family and tried to reach a peaceful resolution, but they had no success and the court ruled to demolish the illegal home. Imagine if I woke up in the morning and decided to build a home and start a car repair business at Central Park in New York City. It's illegal. There are building and planning laws for every city, including Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and just like every nation builds its capital, we also have the right to build Jerusalem for Jewish and Arab residents. The Arab population in Jerusalem is growing, not decreasing, so clearly there is no ethnic cleansing of Arabs like the Palestinian leadership wants you to think. There is law and order, something that every capital city has.